Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. It's Allison and today I'm sharing with you a new scrapbooking layout. There are Cricut die cuts in this layout, but for a twist, I decided to incorporate different die cuts using my Cuttlebug and stickers as well. I'm not usually a big sticker user, but when I finally came up with the idea for this layout, the first collection that I thought of was Photoplay's Tulla Norbert. And I hadn't used a lot of stickers from the 12x12 sticker sheet, and I thought this would be the perfect opportunity. So right now I am working on my stamping. I stamped two gnomes that I had in a stamp set from Close to My Heart from in my stash. I used Close to My Heart intense black ink. It's perfect for stamping images that you plan on using mixed media on or coloring like alcohol markers. The ink won't bleed and it's ideal for this type of application if you are so interested. You could use any other ink as well. I just happen to have this on hand, and so that's what I used. I also cut them out with my Cuttlebug. You saw that just a moment ago. The stamp set that I used from Close to My Heart included thin cuts, and they had the dies for both the gnomes, so I cut them out after I had the coloring done. And once that was all done, I set everything off to the side and started working on my layout base. I knew that I wanted to add mixed media to the background. I was worried that this cut file that I'm adhering or adding tape to would get lost in the background because it's going on a white piece of cardstock. So I used a mini mister to add some mint color to the background, and then I added splatter as well. You may have noticed that I did hand stitch the cut file as well. That helped to keep it from blending into the background, but I still found it really, like looking at it on the screen now, it really just kind of fades into the background. So I am going to fix that later on with my journaling, but we'll get to that in a few minutes. Right now I have dove in, does that make sense? I've dived in to the sticker sheet, and I'm going to add a watering can sticker to the very top of the cut file. I stuck it to some white cardstock first, just some scrap paper, and then cut it out. I knew that I wanted to lift it up off the page and add foam squares to the back of it, and so I matted it to paper first so that I could cut it out and pop it up. You could also use your anti-static pouch tool to take the stickiness off of the sticker and then pop it up that way. I just chose to do it this way. Next, I'm adding the title. So the title is Gnoma's Garden. And I came up with that when I thought of the gnomes, because I knew I had gnomes in my stash. Originally, the title was going to be Oma's Garden. We call my mom Oma. It's Dutch for grandma. I think it's also German too, but in our family, it's Dutch. And I decided to, well, not decided, but I felt pretty clever when I came up with the title Gnoma, because really it's the word gnome, but I changed the E to an A, and it was brilliant. I still kind of giggle about it. Anyway, so the title is Gnoma's Garden. And so I replaced the O with a bumblebee and the word gnome. I glued it directly to the layout base. You saw me using a ruler just to keep it straight. And I used my liquid glue to adhere the word Gnoma. And then I used my liquid glue to adhere garden as well. Those are Cricut die cuts as well as the bumblebees and the cut file in the background that I hand stitched. Everything else is either stickers from the sticker sheet from Tulla Norbert, or they are the cute little gnomes that I colored and cut with my Cuttlebug. Now I'm working on my photos. I did mat my photos, which are again 2 by 2 inches, to some white cardstock. I trimmed that down a little bit, and then I used some craft foam that I got from the Dollarama to pop them up a little bit. I find that the height difference between my foam squares, which I get from Michael's by the way, and the craft foam is different. The craft foam is not as high, it's not as thick as my craft or my foam squares are. So I like using a combination of both, but if I wanted to just use the craft foam, I'd have to double up on it if I wanted it to sit at the same height as what I put the foam squares on. But I like the variation in height, so I leave it as it is because it just makes it a little more interactive in my point of view. I knew that I wanted to add a little flower to one of the gnome's hats as well. I pulled out another Close to My Heart stamp set that I've had in my stash for a while, and I stamped it using the Intense Black ink, and I'm using my Spectrum Noir Tri-Blend markers to color them in, or color it in, I should say. I fussy cut it as well, and it's going on top of that gnome's hat with a foam square. I have a couple other bumblebees that I'm adhering to the layout as well. And once that's done, I'm going to work on a little cluster down at the bottom of the die cut shape. It's actually a honeycomb. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, not necessarily an octagon, not a hexagon. I don't know. It's a shape anyways. And there are hives, like beehives, on the inside of it. If you look really closely at it, you'll see the beehives. I didn't see it at first, but they are there. That's why I brought the bumblebees in, because I thought gardens and beehives and bees and the gnomes, of course, all tied in together. Speaking of gnomes, when I thought of the picture on the very far right-hand side of the gnome, that's where my title came from. It just kind of popped into my head as I was sitting thinking about this layout, trying to figure out what direction I wanted to go in. And there it was. I knew I had this picture of the gnome, and I knew that I had to use it. Once again, I'm so proud of myself for such a clever title. Anyway, I have some Tim Holtz phrase stickers that I'm adhering just below the photos. There is one from the Small Talk Snarky booklet, and then I also have another one just from the Small Talk phrase sticker booklet as well. So they're popped down at the bottom. I've done the little cluster at the bottom with more stickers from the Tulla Norbert sticker sheet. I'm going to adhere my white cardstock to some Tulla and Norbert pattern paper. That is matting the entire project together. I'm using a Pink Fresh Studio chipboard flare. I think this is from the Let's Stay Home or Stay Home collection. Let's Stay Home. It's Pink Fresh anyways. What am I doing now? Oh, I'm adding a little bit of washi tape, and I knew that I wanted to add a little bit of glitter to the bumblebee's wings, just to bling it up a little bit. I also decided to add it to the word Gnoma because all grandmothers sparkle. So here I'm getting to the end of this process and my creative session, my crafty session. I added my journaling around the shape. Once again, that's become my favorite way recently to add my journaling. I love it. And here we are. I have close-ups, quite a few of them actually, so stick around for that. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this layout inspired you. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up and a like. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell so that you can customize your notifications and you'll be notified every time I post a new video. I'll be back again soon, my friends. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.